Hey guys, it's Heather. Today I'm going to be sharing with you all of my favorite tips and tricks for cleaning my kitchen, all the products that I love to use, and all the ways that I clean specific areas of my kitchen. So rather than just like go through each thing and show you what I like to use and talk about it, I figured why not just show you exactly what I do and like how I clean certain things like my cabinets and backsplash appliances, all that kind of thing. I try to keep things super simple, but I also believe that there's not like one cleaning product to clean everything. So let's just jump right into it. Okay, so to clean my countertops, typically I would use just like an antibacterial like soap mixed in with water, spray, wipe it down. I felt like that was amazing, especially for like granite. I typically like to be careful with what I'm putting on my stone. Now this stone is quartz, so I've started using probably like a couple months ago. I wanted to use a really good cleaner because I had an issue. I got a huge juice stain on this counter. I'll insert a clip on exactly how I got it out, but basically I used baking soda and hydrogen peroxide and it worked amazing. It lifted the stain right up with the baking soda, and then the hydrogen peroxide just like bleached it out, and it worked so good. So if you're having issues with like staining on your countertops, whether it's marble or like quartz or granite or whatever stone it is, give that a shot. So lately I've been really liking, this is the Wyman or the Wyman Granite and Stone Daily Clean and Shine, and it's antibacterial. So I specifically like it because it does not leave like a dull residue on my countertops. My countertops are like nice and clean and shiny. I just felt like I wanted to invest in a better product to clean my stone. So I started using this and I really like it. So here's what I do. I completely spray down my countertops. Okay, so everything is sprayed down and I just let the cleaner just soak into my countertops and disinfect the surface and really just cut into any of the grime and grease that's on there. Just really give it a chance to soak in and kind of break it down. So then when I go in with my microfiber towel, I'm just wiping it off and it's nice and clean and shiny. So next up, for cleaning my appliances, I have all stainless steel, and with the kids, especially the baby, you know, he touches everything and gets all grimy and nasty. I like to use these like probably like once or twice a week. I don't go crazy, like I'm not wiping it every 5 seconds, but these stainless steel wipes are by far the best. They also offer this in a spray and like a spray foam. So if you can't get your hands on the wipes, I would probably recommend the spray foam over like the regular spray. And what I would use with that is just like a microfiber cloth, something like this one, and then just, you know, either spray directly onto your fridge, your dishwasher, whatever, and then wipe it down and it will come out pretty good, streak free. But my favorite are by far, I like to get the wipes. It removes like fingerprints, grime, grease, anything, and it just makes your stainless steel look so shiny and just so nice. One wipe goes a long way, so typically I can use one wipe. As long as my appliances aren't super dirty, I can use one wipe and it will take care of like 3 different appliances. So they're just like pretty small squares, and you can see like the foam or whatever, but that dissipates. Like it does leave like a film, but when it dries, it completely dissipates so that you can't see it at all. But these just work so well, and they just cut through like all the grime and grease, so you're not having to scrub so hard. I think the thing that is the most annoying about using just like any all-purpose cleaner on your stainless steel is that it leaves so much residue behind. It looks dirtier and worse than when you first started cleaning, you know? So these are great for that. They make everything look great and you're not having to deal with like any streaking or like weird marks. So my other 2 appliances that by far get like the most grimy and nasty are my dishwasher and my microwave. So I'm gonna show you just how well these wipes work. And it literally takes 2 seconds. It's one product and I just love them. And like I mentioned, the residue that you can see on it right now, it completely dissipates or dissolves or whatever it does but it goes away. So it's like you can leave it on and it will just, as you can see, like it's really starting to go away there, and the rest of it will just dry down. Now to clean my microwave, what I like to do is use a little bit of soap and water. I clean my microwave fairly often, so I don't let it get like really greasy or nasty. But if your microwave is just gross and you don't feel like scrubbing, or you have one like mine where it's actually like a drawer that comes out, a little hack is to use like a handheld steamer. So this is actually like my clothes steamer, but it's perfect because you just put a little water in, you turn it on, and then you just take the steam and let it kind of just steam over those really hard to just get rid of just crust, like gooey buildups. And this just loosens that, so you can just go in there and wipe it right up. I also love this for cabinets. Like if you have some really difficult, like grimy cabinets, or even like your hood, you know, from like the cooking oils, it starts to get nasty. Using a steamer just helps, really lifts that oil and grime buildup, but we'll get more into that later. So I just have some all-purpose soap and water mixed here in a spray bottle, and I just go ahead and I spray it in. I let it soak for about, you know, a minute or two to really lift any gunk that's in there. Then I take a good old-fashioned paper towel and I just give it a really good wipe and just kind of wipe up any food or just any gross stuff. And it works really, really well. Okay, so moving on to cleaning the sink, there's a couple things that I do more so like on the regular to help keep your sink looking brand new and really nice and sparkly. So a couple things that I like to do pretty much daily is I just take like my regular old dish soap, whatever I'm using, on a sponge, and make sure you don't use like the scratch side. So I use the nice soft side. And once I'm done with the dishes, I go in there and I put some soap on my sponge, real hot water, and give it a really good scrub everywhere. Now, if it's been a minute and you need to like do a really good deep clean, I love using this Barkeeper's Friend. I like the soft cleanser. The powder cleanser is fine too. It's only a couple of bucks and it's awesome. So this is really good if you have like any rust or some like calcium or mineral deposit buildups, tarnish, whatever stains you have, anything like that. It works awesome for that. I also love, love, love using this on my shower glass doors, but I've done a video on that. I'll put it above if you're wanting to know more about that. But anyway, I love using this if I just want to get my sink looking really, really just shiny and like brand new, sparkly, and I know that it's clean. So what I do is I just kind of do a little pre-rinse of the sink with some hot water. So I'll just take my little spray thing and just give it a really good spray down. And then I give this a really good shake. Then I just kind of squirt it in there and let it soak for a couple of minutes. So while that's soaking, I'm just gonna pop on just like a pair of gloves. You can use like whatever gloves you have. I just like to protect my hand because it does have oxalic acid in it, which is the ingredient that's gonna do the magic here. So once it's been a couple minutes, I just get my sponge nice and soaky and I just start scrubbing. I just really work all of the cleanser into my sink, all around the surround areas. Another thing that I do is whenever I run my dishwasher, I pop my little drain catcher in there as well. That really helps to keep it clean. So this just does a really, really nice job at polishing your stainless steel. And another thing that we'll get into in a little bit is I love to use this too as like a really good deep clean of my stovetop or my cooktop. So if your cooktop has just gotten really gross, this works really well to lift up any of that grime and just give it a really good deep clean. So I can already see like a couple of the rust stains that I had are lifted away. So I am gonna let that go ahead and just soak in and really get the most benefit that I can from this, probably for about like 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna wash it away with some really hot water. So another thing that's great for shining your stainless steel, especially your sink, because it's also going to sanitize it too, right, is good old-fashioned rubbing alcohol. So what I like to do is I'll put a little bit of rubbing alcohol, just like the kind you get at the store, pour it in a bottle that has a spray bottle, and just spray down your sink. And I'll just let it soak there for about like 30 seconds to a minute. Alcohol dries down super fast. If you want to get it really shiny, you can give it a nice wipe if you want, and that just really gets that sink looking back to nice and sparkly like when you first bought it. And it sanitizes it too, so that's a plus. So while we're on the topic of sinks, another thing that I really like for cleaning my sink, particularly my drain. So if you're dealing with like some nasty stench, or if it's been a while and you just kind of want to clean your drain out, or if your drain's just not draining properly, what I like to do, and I'm not going to do it now because I've done it in a couple other videos, I'll put my favorite use, I think it was like my favorite uses for vinegar video, I'll put that up above and you can check it out. But what I like to do is I like to put a couple cups of baking soda, and then I'll dump like a cup or two of vinegar, let it sit in the drain, let it do its thing for like 10 minutes, and then I'll come back with like piping hot water and then pour that down the drain, and that just really takes care of any odors. It's gonna neutralize any odors. It's gonna help get rid of like clogs and stuff like that in your drain. So it's a good little like natural way to unclog and get that nasty smell out. So I just figured that I would mention that. So to clean like all of the hardware in my kitchen, so like my faucet, my cabinet knobs, I typically use one of two products, and that is just the antibacterial, the all-purpose like soap and water, and I like the Dawn dish soap. I like the Palmolive antibacterial. That's what I have in there right now. And I use just regular good old alcohol because that's what really gets things shiny and sparkly and removes like any streaks or any residues. So what I like to do is I'll just spray some of this soapy water onto a cloth, and it's just super easy, just removes like any dust or dirt or anything you have going on. Now I think this is like polished brass, my faucet, so I don't like to use anything too harsh that would ruin the surface, obviously. So I'm very careful. I like to use just like a dish soap, and for the most part that takes care of it. It looks super shiny. If you feel like things are just looking a little bit dull, take some of your just regular rubbing alcohol, put it on a cloth, and just wipe that down. Also, if you want to sanitize, that's a good thing. Just kind of wipe everything down that way. And it also shines everything, leaves everything streak-free, so it's a win-win. So I do the same thing with my cabinet knobs. But first, before I clean my knobs, I always like to just give my cabinets a good wipe down. So typically it's always the same few that get really nasty, and if you don't wipe them down, you're gonna get that really gunky, like oily, caked on buildup that's gonna be hard to remove over time. So I like to just put a little bit of that soap and water onto a microfiber cloth like this one and just give them a good wipe down. Now I don't go crazy, like I don't go all the way up. I'm not cleaning things that don't need to be cleaned, but I like to just make sure everything is looking nice and fresh and new. And you don't want to use anything super harsh on your cabinets, especially with paint, because if you're using a very harsh cleaner, it could remove the finish. So I like to just use like just the gentle soap and water. And then for my handles, since my handles are glass and I like to sanitize handles, I'll just take a little bit of that soap and water and just kind of wipe them down. And then once it dries, they look perfect and shiny and new again. If you're dealing with cabinets that are caked on and when you touch them, it's like nasty, like you can feel like there's a layer of just film over top of it, get a little handheld steamer and just steam them. That will release all that gunk, so then you can go in there and clean them. So I do the same thing with all my cabinets. There's a bunch of coffee stains and drool and just baby stuff. So I don't do this a ton, but I do like to do it like at least every couple of weeks, especially with the little ones, because if you let it go, then that's when you get into trouble and it's just caked on, and then it becomes more difficult to remove. So for me, I don't mind just giving them a quick wipe. I'll even have my daughter do it, you know, just hey, you want to get, you want to earn a couple bucks, or you want to get a toy, help out and wipe down the cabinets, that kind of thing. So I just kind of go around, and if I see something that looks dirty, I'll just give it a quick wipe, and then that way I keep my cabinets looking nice and new, and they're not looking beat up. So the same thing for these type of drawer pulls. I just spray a little bit of that alcohol and I just polish them. And a lot of people ask, like, are these glass handles hard to keep clean? No, I don't think so. They're definitely gonna show smudges, or if any type of gunk gets on there, you're gonna be able to see it, but it's so easy to just take a little bit of like alcohol or even a glass cleaner, whatever you have on hand, and just give it a quick rub. And for the most part, they look really shiny and polished and new and nice, because white is definitely hard to keep clean. So I definitely like using a little soap and water, doing it fairly regularly, keeping up on it, and you won't have any problems with like stains or just gunked on, caked on crap on your cabinets. Okay, next up is the Backsplash, and this goes for the Backsplash wherever you have it, especially behind your range or your cooktop, whatever you want to call it. And this can typically get really nasty really fast. I have marble. Depending on the type of backsplash you have, you're gonna be able to use different types of cleaners. But for me, since I have marble, I try to be very gentle with it and I clean it. So if we cook or something, after we're done, what we do is we just literally spray that soap and water on it and then just go in and give it a quick wipe. And that just kind of prevents things from just building up and getting really caked on the surface. And so far that has really helped us like maintain the nice look of the marble and the longevity of the marble's life. So with that said, if you have tile, you're not as limited as to, what type of aggressive cleaner you can use. So for the marble, I just stick with soap and water and I spray it on, or I just spray it onto the cloth, similar to what I do with my cabinets, and I just give it a really good wipe down. Now, if you have a ton of just gunk and buildup, you might want to just spray it on and leave it on there longer. Also, the Dawn dish foam, it's upstairs, otherwise I'd show you. And I'm just lazy right now and I don't feel like running up there. But the Dawn dish soap foamer works fantastic at really just lifting any stains or grease or whatnot and just cutting through all of that grime. And since it's foam, so say you have like a ton of buildup right here, you can spray that foam on and it will sit there in that area and it will be able to get to the stain and just really lift it, so then you're able to just wipe it down. As opposed to if you're using a spray bottle, you spray it on and it's gonna start dripping. So that's another really good tip. And even with your microwave, if your microwave is nasty, get that Dawn dish spray foam. I feel like I talk about it nonstop. Spray it on, let it do its thing. Let it do its thing for a few minutes and then come back and you'll be able to wipe that gunk right off like magic. So that's how I handle my backsplash, because the surface is marble and I'm trying to be very gentle with it. So for my range top, again, I feel like it's after you cook, you're wiping up messes, that kind of thing. I know it gets to be a lot. So these I will actually run in the dishwasher probably like once a month, or I will put them in my sink and give them a good scrub down with soap and water and like a really good scrubber. And that takes care of these, but obviously these are a pain in the butt to clean. We all know that. My range is not dirty really at all, because I feel like we do a pretty good job of wiping it down. But I also use the Barkeeper's Friend that you just saw me clean on my stove, and this stuff is awesome at like bringing the finish on your cooktop back to life. So if you're in a really messy situation, I would definitely start with this. What you're gonna wanna do is just put a little bit of the soft cleanser. For my cooktop, I like to put it back on the back of a sponge, or you can even use like a very soft rag. You don't wanna use anything that's gonna scratch. So no scrubber, so think just very soft. This cleanser is very mild abrasives in it, so you're not gonna experience scratching on the surface, which is great. But if it's not that bad, what I like to use to clean this personally is just good old-fashioned soap and water. I'll spray it on after we're done cooking. I'll let it soak in for about 5 minutes. And I come back and I just give it a wipe and I'm good to go. Super easy. Now there's a ton of other cleaners. I feel like there's a cleaner for every single specific part of your kitchen in your house. But for me, I like to just kind of keep with the basics. Now don't get me wrong, like if something is awesome at cleaning something in particular, I will use it, sure. I'm definitely open to trying new things, but I like to just use soap and water for the most part. It's easy and it does a really good job. So I am just going to wipe this down. And for these knobs, it gets really gross. I actually kind of floss my rag in between. So I'm just making sure that I'm cleaning any gunk that's getting in that area. And also you can take a little bit of that rubbing alcohol and sanitize your knobs. Just make sure everything is really nice and clean and sanitary. And also it'll make them nice and shiny. So I love good old-fashioned rubbing alcohol. I feel like it works wonders for so many things. If you're cleaning your countertop, and sometimes I'll just use the soap and water, but it tends to leave that film behind. And if you just spray a little bit of rubbing alcohol on there, it's gonna remove any of the film that's left behind. Just make everything really shiny and streak-free. So that's everything that I wanted to cover today. I hope you guys like this different take at a cleaning video. I really wanted to get in there and show you specifically, step-by-step, what I use, what works. I just thought it would be fun to do something a little bit different than, you guys just watching me clean. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it helpful. Please subscribe. I do all different types of video. I do lots of beauty things and lifestyle, home decor, fashion, lots of cleaning and organizing. I'm having so much fun with this channel. I started it a few years ago just because I felt like I needed to do something that I was passionate about and that I could have a really nice positive hobby where I'm doing something I love. So I hope you guys liked it and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.